Today I'm going to be speedrunning Stardew Valley, but not just any speedrun because those are kinda boring. Instead, I'm going to be doing Stardew Valley Gamer Percent. If you don't know what this is, that's fine because I'm going to be explaining it to you. Basically, the entire goal is to get this in your house, and that's it, you're done. But it's not that simple. The only way to do that is to beat Journey of the Prairie King. This is a little arcade game in the saloon, and pretty much everyone always ignores it. But now that you know all the rules, I'm going to be starting the speedrun. The first thing I have to do is leave my house. Now this is extremely difficult, but somehow I managed to do it in a record-breaking 9 seconds. I then look at the farm for a bit and immediately leave it because it's useless and farming's for lame kids. I head my way over to the Star Drop Saloon and yeah, I kind of just have to sit here now. I personally just not talking to people as that pauses the in-game time, and I accidentally did that, realized it a little bit too late, and maybe that is a bit of a time loss. Anyway, moving on from that, I finally managed to get myself inside the Star Drop Saloon and immediately run over to the arcade to start playing Journey of the Prairie King. The game itself is pretty simple. Enemies spawn until the timer at the top runs out when they stop spawning, and if you kill all the enemies, then you can move on to the next level. Enemies have a chance to drop coins, lives, and items. Coins can be used as shops, lives are, well, lives, and there are 8 different items. This one increases your speed. This one increases your fire rate, this one destroys all enemies on screen, this one makes you shoot 3 bullets at once, this one teleports you to a random spot and has all enemies freeze, this one does the 3-shot and shoot really fast, this one makes you Pac-Man, and this one makes you shoot in every direction. Also, you can only hold one item at a time, and if you're already holding one, it will automatically use an item on pickup. The first 3 levels are pretty easy, and if you die, you're bad. I guess I'm bad. Anyway, moving on from that, nothing too bad happens when you die, you just lose a tiny bit of time, you don't have to restart the level or anything. This is the first shop, and if you have enough coins, you preferably want to get this box, but if you don't, as long as you don't get the boot, it's probably fine. What this box does is increase your damage by 1, which doesn't really matter right now because most enemies have 1 health, but in the future the enemies are going to get a lot of health really quick, so it's important to get it now. After a few more easy levels, you move on to the first of 3 bosses. This first one is extremely easy, and dying on it would be... really? Not again? Come on. Why does this always happen to me? Well, anyway, if you're not bad at the game, you should be able to beat this boss really quickly and move on to the second world. The second world not only has a new color scheme, but also has faster moving and higher health enemies. Without that box I got earlier, this world is extremely difficult, but since I got it, it shouldn't be too hard. Disappointingly, by the time I got to the second shop, I didn't have enough gold to get anything of value, so I just had to skip it. I then very nearly died, but then managed to use my star power I've been saving up to save myself. Luckily though, I managed to get another one very soon after. Disappointingly though, on the next level, even though I shot this guy 2 times, there were enough stacked up on top of each other that they still managed to kill me. In the same level, I die again due to my own greed and trying to pick up an item. After finally beating a level, I get to the 4th shop, getting the second box upgrade. After that is the second boss, which is pretty much the exact same as the first boss, except it has slightly more health. Though with my extra damage and using the kill everything item, it was pretty easy to kill him really quick. This is the third world and it is easily the hardest world because even though I have 2 box upgrades, I still do not one-shot the basic enemy. This is extremely bad because it makes it really easy for a ton of them to spawn and swarm you, causing you to die. I managed to beat the whole next level without dying, which is a really good time save. I then move on to the final level before the boss, which although only has 2 openings for enemies to come through, it is easily the most difficult level because instead of having the normal enemies, most of the enemies are the little flying super fast red guys. These guys come in super odd angles which you can't shoot at, meaning they can kill you without you ever having a chance to shoot them. Either that or sometimes just be really fast. I then proceed to die 3 more times due to the level being hard, greed, and more greed. Eventually, I finally get down to the final guy and kill myself. You might be wondering why I did that, and that's because there is a shop right after this level, and I am 1 gold short off of getting the 3rd box upgrade, and it would help a lot if I got it for the final boss. I very nearly die, but I end up getting my 1 gold, which gives me enough for the box upgrade. I quickly buy it and move on to the final boss. This guy is actually pretty difficult, but has one major flaw. He will always try to predict where you're moving with his shots, so if you just wiggle back and forth, he'll never hit you. But I realized this after this, so I kinda didn't do it this run and died multiple times. That's fine though, when you die the boss doesn't even gain some health back, so it's barely even a time loss. Wow, I really do die a lot. Oh, would you look at that, it's the invention of the wiggle strat. If only I had known this ahead of time. Wow, literally died to the first enemy you fight. Well, after 4 deaths and a lot of wasted time, I finally killed him, and the only thing I have to do is watch the final cutscene. This isn't skippable unless you leave the game, and I'm not sure if leaving the game at the end counts as beating it, so I just decided to watch through it. Now, if you're an observant person, you'll notice that the timer in the top left hasn't stopped yet. This is because the point of this speedrun isn't to beat the game, it's to become a gamer. And one of the major requirements of becoming a gamer was to get the game in your house. This clearly hasn't been done yet, but don't worry, beating the game didn't have zero use because you still have to beat the game to get it in your house. You just also have to go to sleep and then you'll receive it in the mail the next day. The only problem is sleeping happens to be the second most difficult part of the run. This is okay for a pro gamer like me, but if you haven't done this before, you might want to practice. Would you look at that, only 5 seconds. After reading Gus's note, you can flip to the next page and collect the arcade system. Then the only thing left to do is place it down in your house. And if you've followed all these steps, you've become a true gamer. You can finally sit in your own non-basement and play games whenever you want. If only that happened in the actual run.